So while everybody else is competing in the World of Void in the Tournament of Power to fight for the future of the universe, poor Yamcha stuck on Earth with Bulma, not competing. Now, I like Yamcha, but let's be real. Yamcha has been the butt of jokes in this community and in the Dragon Ball fandom and in all of Dragon Ball itself, even within the series, for ages. I like the character, but the poor guy just can't catch a break. So on this video, we're going to kick a man while he's down. Let's go back and look at the history of Yamcha's epic failures all throughout Dragon Ball. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content I provide here on Geekdom 101, don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so that you get every video right to your device. And thank you so much. So as a guide to help us through this video, I'm going to be using a chart that was created by Aaron, otherwise known as Subarashi, and I will link to his channel down below. He does a lot of really fun and wacky videos that pretty much nobody else is doing, so I will link to his channel below. Check him out, show him some love. Let's begin. Here is the chart. Let's go back to the very beginning of Dragon Ball. Yamcha is first introduced as a desert bandit, and you're thinking, wow, this guy's a bandit. He has to be a tough guy. Well, he is, but not tough enough to beat Kid Goku. And at this point in the series, this is Goku at his absolute weakest that we've ever seen, except for when he was a baby. So can you imagine Yamcha facing off against a further evolved, stronger version of Goku? Yeah, not a good look. Moving down, let's go ahead and look at the next thing that Aaron wrote here, and that is that Yamcha is crippled by his fear of women multiple times throughout the rest of the arc. Yeah, that's true, but in Yamcha's defense, as he got older, not only did he end up hooking up with Bulma at the end of the first arc, but also wound up becoming a bit of a playboy, as Trunks describes later on, that the reason why Bulma left Yamcha is because, well, it's implied that Yamcha was either cheating on her, or about to cheat, or was too much of a ladies' man. So Yamcha's crippling fear of women did go away, and that's some great development with this character, that even though he was never that strong, he was still able to conquer that fear of women. And, well, quite frankly, if you're not going to be the strongest character on Earth, getting laid's not too bad of a consolation prize. Now, moving forward, we get to the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, and says here Yamcha loses the tournament before the other main characters without being touched. Yeah, kind of embarrassing, but that kind of became Yamcha's role in these tournaments. He's always there to be the jobber to the bigger villain. That's what he's there to do, is do the JOB, and he does it quite well. So if you're watching Dragon Ball for the first time in order, you would think that for future tournaments, there's no way that Yamcha would go down like a chump. Well, in the next tournament, the 22nd Budokai, he definitely did not go down like a chump, but he did go down. He was the first to lose in the tournament again and was crippled, literally crippled by Tenshinhan as he broke Yamcha's leg and hospitalized him for the remainder of the tournament. Now at that time, this wasn't so bad because at that point, Tenshinhan was the strongest villain and actually would go on to win the entire tournament, but him beating Yamcha was good because it showed just how ruthless Tenshinhan was, and would of course be a big factor in him eventually changing as the tournament progressed and becoming a good guy and realizing that you can beat the dude without having to put him in the hospital, bro. But hey, it's Yamcha. He'd better get used to it. Now, this chart does not even take into account the fact that Yamcha sat out for pretty much the entire Red Ribbon Army arc, and during the Uranai Baba tournament, Yamcha once again did the JOB to Mummy Man. However, in this instance, Yamcha at the very least was able to get a W, scoring a victory over the Invisible Man, of course with outside interference from Master Roshi's nosebleed and his girlfriend's voluptuous boobies. Other than some really pointless TV filler, Yamcha sat out pretty much the entire Piccolo arc once again, but would return in the 23rd tournament with some new scars in his face, and to this day we don't even know how he got those scars. Perhaps he got them from performing cunnilingus on Bulma, or perhaps he got them from eating pineapple in the censored version. It's up to you to decide. But in this tournament, he once again is the first guy to lose, losing to a human that was possessed by God. Now, obviously, Kami possessing this guy made him very strong, and you have to remember, at this point in the series, Kami was a very powerful character, but when you look at the very simple explanation that Yamcha lost to a human that was possessed by God, I can kind of forgive that one a little bit, right? But boy, was he the butt end of the joke on this one. Then we get to Dragon Ball Z, where Yamcha's decided that he's going to become a professional baseball player. But unfortunately, his time in the league didn't last very long because, well, his buddy Goku's distant, and I do mean very distant cousins, decided to come to Earth and stir shit up. So Yamcha had to train to fight them off, and he didn't even get to fight a single one of them because he was the first to die by getting blown up in a self-sacrificial technique by a Saibai-man. Now, what makes this even more disrespectful to Yamcha is the fact that he actually beat this Saibai-man in a fight. He beat the dude and didn't kill him, didn't pay attention, got caught with the banana in the tailpipe, and wound up going to the next dimension. Yamcha was the first to try and the first to die. Now, down here at the bottom of the chart, we have some bonus little tidbits here. On and off relationship issues, as he is both unconfident and not willing to commit properly. This is talked about by Bulma in early DBZ because it's implied that her and Yamcha just keep going on and off. So this kind of was a prelude to Yamcha eventually becoming a playboy. Now, the introduction of Vegeta really cucked Yamcha, but we're going to get to that here shortly. So Yamcha sits out the entire Namek arc, except for a couple of filler scenes where he does well against the Ginyu Force. So kudos to Toei for giving Yamcha some shine against the Ginyu Force. But after the Frieza saga, Vegeta decides to make Earth his permanent new home, and things get really embarrassing for Yamcha when it comes to his lack of ability to keep a girl, because he completely loses the only woman in his life who actually really cared about him to a genocidal space caveman. Here's a little word of advice for you youngsters out there. If your girl comes to you and says, I'm leaving you for a space pirate whom a year ago killed you and all of my friends, yeah, you ain't pimping. But at the same time, would you really want a girl like that in your life? Think about it. Then we have the I can't accept that Vegeta's better than me character arc, onset by the previous I'm a dumbass who can't maintain a relationship character arc. He should have just forgotten about it, but he didn't. As we move forward here in the filler episodes of DBZ before the androids show up, he attempts to match Vegeta's level of gravity training and fails. So, as if the show wasn't already cucking Yamcha by having Vegeta take his woman and create the child of the future, they have to show that this dude can't even hold a candle to the prince's magic stick, if you know what I mean. So because of that boy from the future, who is the son of the girl that you lost to that space pirate, now having awareness of the threat of the androids, the Z-Fighters would train for 3 years to face off against them. And who would be the first casualty? Who would be the first guy to end up taking the L in combat against the androids? I'll give you 3 guesses. Yeah, the dude winds up with a hand through his chest. And not just that, he ends up with a hand through his chest by number 20, who's not one of the stronger ones, which isn't even one of the ones that were terrorizing the future. Even future Yamcha being killed by 17 and 18 has more dignity than present Yamcha, who did the JOB to the lesser, weaker android. So after this, Yamcha didn't really do much at all, really. There was a few highlights here and there against Perfect Cell where he tried to help Gohan in the anime version. But in the Buu saga, Yamcha goes back to being an epic fail. And this was not in the chart that Aaron had created here, but there are 2 key points in the Buu saga where Yamcha proves to be totally flaccid. Number 1, in the episode where they're hunting the Dragon Balls, Yamcha's the one who crashes the damn jet to the ground like an idiot. Then, of course, later on, he cucks to freaking Majin Buu. But, of course, this is all balanced out in the anime, because in the anime version, we see Yamcha defeating Olibu, which has led to the community thinking that Yamcha's like as strong as a Super Saiyan 2, or something like that. Thank you, Toei, for confusing the community one more time with your pointless filler. But hey, at least you're trying to somewhat make Yamcha kinda cool again, so the Yamcha fans, I'm sure, appreciate that. Now, moving on to Dragon Ball Super, there's, of course, the shot where Yamcha slaps the insanely powerful and short-tempered God of Destruction in the back. This one's not so bad because Yamcha was not the catalyst for Beerus getting upset. Majin Buu was, but for all intents and purposes, it might as well have been Yamcha considering his track record. Now, another one that Aaron left off the chart was the fact that Yamcha, and this has to be Toei really cutting his balls off. They neutered this guy. Yamcha did not even show up to help the Z Fighters fight Frieza's army in Resurrection F, both the movie and the anime. The anime at least added Goten and Trunks. Yamcha took the L up the booty hole for this arc from Toei's writers once again. Then, after the Universe 6 tournament, during the after party, when Beerus wants to make sure that Goku does not know that Monaka's a phony, points out to Goku that the real Monaka's there, not Beerus in the costume, risking the destruction of the Earth once again. Of course, it had to be Yamcha. Then we have Yamcha speculating that Vegeta might be turning evil again, only to end up looking like a moron. Well, is that as bad as people assuming that Goku Black was Goten? I mean, who's the real moron here? Yamcha, assuming that Vegeta might be evil, considering he's been evil like 3 times already? Or people thinking that Goku threw the fight against Frost? I'll let you decide who's the bigger dumbass. But if we keep going down even further, we then get to the highlight, which is the series Dragon Ball Super becoming self-aware that the death of Yamcha is an actual character. In other words, Yamcha has now become a joke before he is a character. Yamcha has become a meme, and it says right here that the most he will amount to is a spin-off manga which someone else sorts out his life for him. That's bad. That is bad, but thank you, Dragon Garo Lee, for burying Yamcha even more and reminding us that somebody else has to take over his body for him to be successful. That's pretty pathetic. You know what, though? I think Toei did a great job with keeping Yamcha out of the Tournament of Power, and I can assure you that if Yamcha were in that team, he would be the first one eliminated, and it sure as hell would not be by disqualification. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you had fun reliving the disaster that is the life of Yamcha with me. And I just want to say that I actually do like Yamcha, but the dude has to have broken a mirror, or maybe several of them, because I've never seen a character have this much bad luck. But hey, at least the girls like him. I'll talk to y'all later.